What's up? I'm Lily. Revenge Crown brings you the stories that keep you hooked. If that sounds good, smash subscribe and let's go. I pulled out my phone and opened the banking app I'd been monitoring for 3 months. My sister Melissa stood in the middle of our parents' living room, fresh from her Tesla parked outside, wearing a Chanel jacket she'd posted about on Instagram last week. Melissa has really made something of herself, Dad said, nodding approvingly. Senior marketing executive at 32, corner office, 6-figure salary. Not everyone can say that. He didn't look at me when he said it, but the implication was clear. I was 35, still working as a high school guidance counselor, living in a modest townhouse, driving a 7-year-old Honda, the family disappointment. It's all about making smart choices, Melissa said, examining her manicured nails. $120 gel nails posted 3 days ago. Some people are just more ambitious than others. My Aunt Linda, visiting from Portland, raised her eyebrows. Melissa, that seems a bit harsh. Julia has a good job. She helps kids. Oh, I'm sure she's doing important work, Melissa said with false sweetness. It's just not very lucrative, is it? I mean, I probably make triple what she makes. Maybe more. Mom patted Melissa's arm. Well, you've always been our go-getter. Remember when she started her first business at 16? We knew she'd be successful, I remembered. I'd loaned her $200 from my part-time job for that business. Never saw it again. Speaking of success, Melissa continued, pulling out her phone. I just closed a deal that's going to net me a $50,000 bonus in January. Honestly, I don't even know what to do with all this money. You could pay Julia back. My cousin Brandon said quietly from the corner. He was 23, fresh out of college, and had spent Thanksgiving hearing me vent about this exact situation. The room went silent. Pay her back for what? Mom asked, frowning. Nothing, Melissa said quickly. Brandon doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, I think he does, I said, standing up. My phone was warm in my hand. The bank accounts were still open on my screen. Brandon, what time is it? He checked his phone, confused. 9:47. Perfect, I said. Banks just opened on the East Coast. That means all the transfers I scheduled for this morning have processed. Melissa's face went pale. Julia, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the $150,000 you've been using to fund your lifestyle, I said calmly. The $150,000 that's actually mine. Dad laughed uncomfortably. Julia, that's ridiculous. Melissa has her own money. She's successful. Is she? I pulled up my laptop from my bag and connected it to the TV. Let me show you something. The screen filled with a spreadsheet. Melissa Patterson, actual financial history 2015 to 2025. What is this? Mom asked. This, I said, is the truth about Melissa's success story. Every dollar she's received from me over the past 10 years. Every promise to pay me back. Every lie about her income. Melissa stood frozen, her Chanel jacket suddenly looking less impressive. I clicked to the first section. Let's start with 2015, Melissa's senior year of college. She needed $8,000 for tuition because she spent her student loan refund on a spring break trip to Cancun. She promised to pay me back when she got her first job. That was a loan, Melissa said weakly. Between sisters, with no repayment, I said. Next, 2016, Melissa's first apartment. Security deposit and first month's rent. $3,200. Promised repayment. Never received. I clicked through slide after slide. Each one showed a transaction with documentation, text messages, emails, bank transfers. 2017, $12,000 for Melissa's business startup that never launched. 2018, $15,000 to pay off credit card debt from essential expenses, actually designer clothes and luxury vacations. 2019, $18,000 for Melissa's car down payment. 2020, $22,000 spread across the year for various emergencies. Julia, stop this, Mom said. This is embarrassing. It should be, I agreed. But not for me. Let's continue. 2021, $25,000 for Melissa's investment opportunity that turned out to be an MLM scheme. 2022, $19,000 for Melissa's wedding her half because she'd spent the money her husband gave her. 2023, $16,000 for medical expenses that turned out to be cosmetic procedures. 2024, $11,800 for various business costs for a job she already had a salary for. Total amount given to Melissa Patterson over 10 years, I said, pulling up the summary. $150,000. Total amount repaid. $0. The room was dead silent. Aunt Linda had her hand over her mouth. Brandon was nodding slowly, vindicated. My parents looked shocked. Melissa found her voice. Those were gifts. Family helps family. Really? I pulled up a new document. Because I have 127 text messages and emails where you specifically called them loans and promised repayment. Would you like me to read some? Julia, Melissa started. March 2019, I read from my phone. Jules, I swear I'll pay you back by June. This car is an investment in my career. June came and went. No payment. September 2021, this business opportunity is going to make me rich. I'll pay you back double. I promise, the business was a pyramid scheme. You lost the entire $25,000. November 2023. I really need this procedure for my confidence. It'll help me at work. I'll pay you back in installments starting January. It's been over a year. I've received $0. Dad cleared his throat. Melissa, is this true? She's exaggerating, Melissa said desperately. It wasn't that much. It was exactly that much, I interrupted. And I can prove every penny, but here's the interesting part. Want to know how I funded Melissa's lifestyle? I clicked to a new slide. I worked 2 jobs from 2015 to 2020. My guidance counselor position during the day, tutoring at night, and on weekends. I lived in a studio apartment that cost $600 a month. I drove a car with 200,000 miles on it. I didn't take a single vacation for 6 years. I clicked to a new slide. That was your choice, Mom said weakly. It was my sacrifice, I corrected. Because every time Melissa called with an emergency, you both told me family helps family, that I should be generous. That Melissa would do the same for me. I would have, Melissa protested. When? I asked. When I needed $4,000 for a new transmission in 2018 and you told me you were cash-strapped, while posting pictures from your weekend in Vegas. When I asked for help with my student loans and you said you were barely getting by while buying a $3,000 handbag? Melissa had no answer. But here's where it gets really interesting, I said. 3 months ago, I started investigating Melissa's so-called success. Want to know what I found? This one showed Melissa's employment history from LinkedIn and public records. Melissa isn't a senior marketing executive, I said. She's a mid-level coordinator making $58,000 a year. I verified this through 3 different sources. That's private information, Melissa said, her voice shrill. You had no right. It's publicly available through corporate databases and LinkedIn salary data, I said. You lied about your title and your income. The Tesla? Leased at $980 a month, which is eating up most of your actual salary. The corner office? You work in a cubicle? I have photos from your company's Facebook page. I displayed the photos. There was Melissa, sitting in a standard cubicle, no corner office in sight. The company caption read, "Our amazing marketing team hard at work." Brandon let out a low whistle.
Damn, Melissa.
The $50,000 bonus you just mentioned, I continued. Your company's bonus structure is public through their BCC filings. Maximum bonus for your position and tenure is $3,500. So that was a lie too. Dad sat down heavily. Melissa, what the hell? I had to keep up appearances, Melissa said, tears starting. Everyone expected me to be successful. I couldn't let them down. So you lied and stole from your sister? Aunt Linda asked coldly. I didn't steal, Melissa protested. She gave me the money, under false pretenses, I said. You told me you were struggling. You told me these were loans. You told me you'd pay me back. Every single one of those statements was a lie. I clicked to another slide. But here's my favorite part. Want to know how Melissa maintained her lifestyle on $58,000 a year while spending like she makes $200,000? The next slide showed credit card statements. She's $67,000 in debt across 7 credit cards, all maxed out. She's been making minimum payments, which is why she constantly needs money from me. How did you get my credit card information? Melissa demanded. I didn't, I said. But 3 months ago, you asked me to help you organize your finances, remember? You gave me access to your account so I could help you budget. I used that access to document everything before you realized what I was doing. Melissa's face crumpled. You tricked me. I gathered evidence, I corrected. And this morning at 9 a.m., I used that access to do something else. I pulled up my phone and showed the screen to the room. I transferred every penny out of the 3 bank accounts that are technically in my name, but that you've been using. What? Melissa lunged for my phone. I pulled it back. Remember in 2019 when you needed a bank account because yours were all overdrawn? I opened accounts in my name and gave you access. You've been using them ever since. This morning, I removed your access and transferred $23,450 to my primary account. That's my money, Melissa screamed. It's money in accounts with my name as the primary holder. I said calmly, according to the bank, it's legally mine. And since you owe me $150,000, I'm keeping it, Mom stood up. Julia, you can't do this to your sister. Watch me, I said. I've already done it. The transfers are complete. Melissa's access to those accounts is terminated. Melissa was crying now. I have bills to pay. I have my car payment. My rent is due next week. Then I suggest you figure out how to live on your actual salary, I said. Like the rest of us do? Dad looked at me with something like disappointment. Julia, this is cruel. She's your sister. She's a liar and a thief, I replied. And I'm done funding her fake lifestyle. I clicked to the final slide. This is a demand letter from my attorney. Melissa owes me $150,000 plus interest. You're suing your own sister? Mom asked, horrified. I'm recovering money that was stolen from me through fraud, I said. Melissa lied about her income, her emergencies, and her ability to repay. She took money under false pretenses. That's fraud. Melissa collapsed onto the couch. I can't pay that. I don't have it. Then you'll make payments, I said. My attorney suggests $1,500 per month for 10 years. That's manageable on your actual salary if you cut out the designer clothes and luxury lifestyle. This is insane, Dad said. Family doesn't sue family. Family doesn't lie to family for 10 years. I shot back. Family doesn't take $150,000 and spend it on luxury goods while letting their sister work 2 jobs. Family doesn't brag about fake success while the person who funded them sits silently in the corner. Aunt Linda started clapping slowly. I've been waiting for this for 5 years. 5 years of watching Melissa take advantage and everyone praising her for it. About time someone held her accountable. Linda, stay out of this, Mom said sharply. No, Linda replied. I've watched Julia sacrifice everything while Melissa got everything handed to her. It ends now. Brandon pulled out his phone. I'm recording this, by the way, for Julia's legal case. Hope that's okay. It's one-party consent in this state, I said. Completely legal. The room erupted. Mom crying, Dad yelling, Melissa sobbing. Multiple family members arguing. I stood in the middle of it, completely calm, holding my phone with the evidence of 10 years of financial abuse. My Uncle Robert, who'd been quiet until now, stood up.
He was a retired CPA. Everyone shut up, he said, his voice cutting through the chaos. Julia, can I see that spreadsheet?
I handed him my laptop. He reviewed it for 10 minutes while the room remained tense and silent. This is ironclad, he finally said. Every transaction documented, every promise recorded, every lie exposed. Melissa, you're lucky Julia isn't pressing criminal charges for fraud. Can she do that? Dad asked weakly. Potentially yes, Robert said. Obtaining money through false pretenses is fraud. The amounts here are significant enough to be felony charges in this state. Melissa's sobbing intensified. I didn't mean to. You thought you'd never get caught, I said. You thought I'd keep funding you forever while you played successful businesswoman on social media. I started packing up my laptop. I'm leaving now. Melissa, you have 30 days to respond to the demand letter. If you don't, my attorney files suit on January 23rd. Julia, please. Mom tried once more. Can't we talk about this? Work something out? We can work it out through attorneys, I said. I am done being the family ATM while Melissa gets praised for success she didn't earn, as I walked toward the door. My cousin Sarah, who'd been silent throughout, spoke up. Julia, wait. I turned. Sarah was 29, worked in tech, made good money. I've been where you are, she said. Different sister. Same bullshit. If you need a witness statement for your case, call me. I've watched this happen for years. Sarah, Mom gasped. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious, Sarah said. Julia deserves her money back. Melissa deserves consequences. I'll testify to that in court if needed. 3 other cousins nodded in agreement. I'd always thought I was alone in seeing through Melissa's performance. Apparently not. I left my parents' house and didn't look back. Behind me, I could hear continued arguing, Melissa's crying, Mom trying to keep the peace. My phone started ringing before I even reached my car. I declined the call, then another. And another. By the time I got home, I had 43 missed calls and 96 text messages. I blocked everyone except my attorney, Aunt Linda, Uncle Robert, and the cousins who'd offered support. The next morning, my attorney called. Julia, I've received 3 calls from your parents and 2 from Melissa. They want to negotiate. No negotiations, I said. Full repayment with the payment plan we outlined, or we file suit. That's what I told them, he said. They're claiming financial hardship. Melissa has $8,400 Chanel jackets and leases a Tesla, I said. That's not hardship. That's poor financial choices. Agreed, he said. Stand firm. They'll cave. 4 days later, Melissa's attorney reached out. She was willing to agree to a payment plan, $1,200 per month for 12 years. Counter with $1,500 for 10 years, I told my attorney. Non-negotiable. 2 days after that, Melissa signed the agreement. $1,500 per month for 120 months. If she missed a single payment, the full amount became due immediately with interest penalties. The first payment arrived 30 days later. $1,500, direct deposit to my account. I stared at it for a long time. My therapist asked if I felt guilty. No, I said honestly. I feel free. Over the next 6 months, the family fractured. Half-sided with Melissa, calling me heartless.
Half-sided with me, saying it was long overdue. Christmas was canceled.
Thanksgiving was split into 2 separate gatherings. I didn't care. For the first time in 10 years, I wasn't carrying the weight of Melissa's fake success. The second payment arrived, then the third. Each one felt like validation. Melissa had to sell the Tesla. She moved to a smaller apartment. Her Instagram posts became less frequent, less flashy. The designer clothes disappeared. She was living on her actual salary for the first time in a decade. My parents tried reaching out through various relatives. The message was always the same. Couldn't I forgive and forget? Wasn't I being too harsh? My response through my attorney never changed. Melissa has 117 payments remaining. When she's paid back what she stole, we can discuss forgiveness. A year after that Christmas, I ran into Melissa at the grocery store. She looked different, no designer anything. Hair in a simple ponytail, driving a used Honda. She saw me and froze. For a moment, neither of us moved. The payments are on time, she finally said. I know, I replied. I'm sorry, she said quietly, for all of it. I got caught up in trying to look successful and lost sight of everything else. I looked at my sister, really looked at her for the first time in years. She looked tired, humbled, real. You have 9 years of payments left, I said. Maybe after that we can talk. She nodded and walked away. I finished my shopping and went home. People asked if I'd ever reconcile with my family. If 10 years of payments was too harsh. If I should have just let it go. I always gave them the same answer. Melissa stole $150,000 from me while bragging about success she didn't have. She gets to pay it back. That's not harsh. That's justice. The payments continued, month after month, year after year. Each one a reminder that actions have consequences, even for family, especially for family. And I slept perfectly at night,